Cham, the director of the Institute for Disaster Management at the University of Georgia, is a respected radiation expert who has led 7 expeditions to Fukushima.
I think that there was probably some exposure to radiation on the USS Ronald Reagan, but saying some manifests to many people that any exposure to radiation is going to be dangerous. That is actually not the case.
This is Dr. Dallas. He's from the University of Georgia. And back just after this happened, he talks about how 17 sailors had to be decontaminated.
Sailors on the Ronald Reagan aircraft carrier, they had to be decontaminated. 17 of them had to be decontaminated today.
And how far away was that?
It was quite some distance away. As a matter of fact, the Ronald Reagan had already veered away from the coast.
So if it's low-level doses, why would they decontaminate it? The fact they were 1 mile off the coast.
We wouldn't have been a mile away from the reactor plant. I mean,
Dallas said the Navy's calculations suggest the radiation exposure of the sailors and Marines was about the same as taking a transatlantic flight, or not very much.
I can fly on a plane all day. It's not going to give you cancer. Pilots do it all the time. Stewardess do it all the time. Business people do it all the time. There's no risk. There's insignificant background radiation. If you're on the deck of the ship and the plume came over you, you had to breathe in the hot particles.
The whole air column around this planet is contaminated now with radiation. Flight crews are dropping dead and have radiation-related illnesses. Pilots are having heart attacks in the air while they're at the controls of the airplanes. It's really starting to show now. But going back to this young woman, I read the whole obituary, and she had spent the summer in Hawaii, 2013, surfing the whole summer. So I knew that she probably died of cardiac arrest or a stroke. That's the most common thing. Racehorses, athletes, football players, soccer players. This is happening, not just a one team member. It's multiple members in the same week announcing that they have leukemia and heart trouble, and it's just hard to hide now. And when you think of the Olympics being held in Tokyo, Japan in 2020, is that ever holding an athletic event in the middle of a country under nuclear war? It just seems completely Orwellian and insane, because it is.
Right. Now, there's sort of two areas there. You just brought up the issue of the atmospheric air column. Could we go there just for a couple of questions?
Yes.
Recently, we had a person who was actually a former Parks Board commissioner of Vancouver, DC, fly from Vancouver International Airport to Heathrow, and she brought along her Geiger counter, and what she found was readings of up to 3.60 microsieverts per hour, and the annual limit for air flight attendants is 1,500 microsieverts per year. So we did a calculation that showed that at that level, on an annualized basis, that was 3 times the legal limit of what the FAA stated for air flight attendants' exposure to radiation. Why is the FAA not measuring radiation, and why aren't they telling the crews and the pilots and the passengers about this danger?
They're protecting commerce. They're protecting government agencies. They're protecting corporations. They're protecting the entities, the vested interests behind HAARP and nuclear weapons. It's a huge global industry. defense and weapons are more than half of the U.S. economy and budget. It's a huge revenue source for countries. So anything that threatens that is going to be covered up and denied.
All right, so hey everybody, Russ Jensen up here in Salt Lake City. I'll fix my volume here for a second. And I thought I'd do a little close-up on these two little figurines you see sitting now up behind my, when I'm doing my these little video talks. Okay? So I want to make one thing clear to everybody, please. When I ask the question of you don't even know who I am, do you? Not implying that I'm something or somebody, if that makes any sense. But partially, the way that I'm saying it is to get people to think what? That very thing. Now, the only reason I'm saying any of those things, the reason I'm beating up on Dana and Radchick and Kevin Blanche and Arnie Dungeon and all these different people, is that you don't know who they are either. Do you? Or is it a guy, a gal, a person, right, that you came across, had interesting information, right? Information you found valuable, information you could use, you start accessing them, then all of a sudden they become the expert. And I'm not saying if they are or they aren't. What I can tell you though is every one of those people that I just named has given you false information. Now my question is if they're passing on information, they're placing themselves in these positions of expertise and or authority and or knowing that people are coming to rely upon them, why they would be giving out information that's not true. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that my information is any more true or not true, but at least I'm saying to you, hey, verify what I'm saying. Here's where I'm getting the information from. Okay? Another question I have is, you're giving all this great information about these things, but what are you going to do with it? Are they talking to you about the implications, about what that is, what the fallout is, what the longer term effects might be of this information that they're providing to you, and what you could possibly do about it? So that's all I'm saying. I'm asking people about if they, you don't even know who I am. It's for that very reason there, and that reason alone. Okay? I'm trying to make myself some supernatural, wizard, magician. I have had some very interesting things happen to me. I have had some blessings bestowed upon me, some healing, some things, some authority from a long line of very powerful indigenous spiritual and medical or medicinal medicine type people. Okay? And we have to share that with people later on, along with some other things. Okay, so yeah, there's some certain things I have access to, some certain things that a lot of people don't, and that's okay, because you have access to a lot of things that I don't, that make you unique, with a different insight, different set of information. So that's my only purpose for any of these things. When I got in here, I did some of my rants, my screaming, my yelling, saying some of these outrageous things. Hey, it's just to try to get people broken out of this hypnotic mindset that we've all been placed in. Okay? Trying to get people maybe a little bit upset and take a look at maybe some of those things are true. That's the way we act. It's the things that we do that we need to stop maybe and take a look at that. Am I judgmental about all that stuff? No. I'm not in a position to do any of that. Okay? I'm just trying to stir things up a little bit, get a conversation going, and when I ask about commenting, it's for that very reason. Okay?
an exchange of energy, get things happening, comments, maybe you have some information about what I've said that verifies it or doesn't verify it for somebody else that come along and see it, see your comment. Okay? Use that as an opportunity to get a little bit of a message that you might have available out there, you know? But, like I said, I think it's very important for people to come over, sign up as a member at that Fukushima the Naked Truth Forum Board. Simply the fact that at some point we have to start limiting the information. We all have to get on the same message. Okay? So first of all, we have to start defining and crafting what that message is, because people, what has gone on, what we have done, what we are doing isn't working, obviously. Alright, I'll come back a little bit later. Talk at you some more. Alright.